What up, everybody? This is your boy DJ Mixmaster, and welcome back to the first Descendant. So, last video we ended up clearing out Kingston of the Vulgus threat, and upon coming back to Albion, ended up getting an alert, and we have a Colossus that's approaching. So we're gonna get ready to battle it, but before we do that, I need to make a couple of upgrades because alright, let's see. Right now we just need the weapons to able to do a little bit more damage and all of that, and that's good for now. And then
welcome. You're here for modules, right?
I can't. Okay. It's been a while since I've done the beginning of the game, and so it's alright. Alright, in that case, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So, the Humanity Scourge quest, we gotta talk to Seneca first.
The space-time fabric of the void is extremely illogical. Descendant. Ever since Corral caused the void erosion with the Ironheart, the Colossi have become more active. According to my calculations, the expected point of arrival for this Colossus is at the Kingston border. The classification type is Gravewalker, just like the one you encountered at the ruins. That specimen was weaker due to the unexpected nature of the dimensional link. But things will be different this time. If this Colossus manages to enter Ingris, Kingston may be lost to us forever. We must intercept it in the Void Dimension before that happens. I will send you to the Void Dimension once you have finished your battle preparations. May the intercept be successful, Descendant.
All right. All right. Alright, we're just gonna set for junk anything that's under level 10. Okay.
Are you ready to undertake a Void Intercept battle assignment?
Alright, into the void to intercept the Colossi threatening Ingris. Select the Colossus to intercept. Check the prerequisite conditions that the Colossus cannot be intercepted. If you have successfully intercepted all Colossi, you can enter the critical point breakthrough. In the critical point breakthrough, you can set the difficulty of the Colossus. Alright, so this is kind of like the excuse me, big boss. So of course you have its attribute, and then you have its resistances. So of course it's a fire attribute, so of course it's gonna be very strong against fire, strong against electric, very weak against frost, and normal against acid. Then it has the recommendeds for your character. So of course a DPS check, HP check, shield check, defense check, and then a resistance check. Now we barely have any modules that have any resistances, so of course this is gonna be low for me, but that's fine. That's just as long as I don't get hit by it too much, I should be fine. So we can get the rundown of it. We have some of its parts, the sensor being on its shoulders, the helmet, the core cover, the brain. Once that this part gets destroyed, shell, that's a breakable part. The core, breakable part, and then when frenzied, with these Colossi battles, when you do enough damage to the Colossus, they become frenzied, and then there's certain parts that can only be targeted to kind of knock it out of its frenzied state. It won't take any more damage, at least from anywhere else on the body. And if I'm not mistaken, it's also reduced. I can't remember for sure, but I do know in Frenzied you can only attack certain things to kind of continue to do regular damage to the Colossus. And then we could go ahead and either find a party, start a public intercept in which the battle is with 4 Descendants, so it'd be me and 3 other Descendants. Or I could do a private intercept. In First Descendant, the Colossus or boss battles scale with the number of participants. So one thing I learned very early in First Descendant is, even though you have these all recommended, all the kind of stuff, the other players might not be running the same stuff you are. They might not even hit these thresholds. And then of course, the more and more Descendants that get added to a battle, the harder the boss is. So in order to have the easiest time and to make sure there's no RNG you know, in terms of having to fight this boss, especially for these earlier bosses. We're gonna do private intercepts. It's just gonna be one-on-one. But everything should be fine. And there we go. It was a lot harder when I first started, basically because I did the same mistake that I did with Genshin, that I've done with certain other games. I didn't realize that you, in this game, you have modules which help you increase the attack strength of your Descendant, of your weapons and abilities and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, when I first started, I kept collecting them, but I never knew what to use them for or how to use them, and so I went into this battle completely naked, essentially. Oh crap, did I hit reset? I think I did. Yeah, I did. That's alright.
I am analyzing the Void Paradox. Good work, Descendant. The Colossus was stronger than average, and you still achieved a resounding victory. However, as long as the dimensional wall remains open, the invasion of the Colossi will never end. Until the dimensional wall is closed, humankind will have no choice but to live with the fear of the Colossi. Descendant, securing the Ironheart and closing the dimensional wall, it isn't just to defeat the Vulgus. If we cannot stop the invasion of Ingris by the Colossi, there will be no hope for humanity. Remember your calling. I will focus more attention on monitoring the Void Dimension.
That was a job well done, Descendant. While you were intercepting the Colossus, the guide gave Enzo some important intel. It concerns the next operation, so head back to HQ once you're ready.
Actually, let's go ahead and clear that out, so... Go ahead and clear these out too.
The success of this operation will lead us to victory. Descendant, using the Ancestors' data, the Guide claims to have discovered a zone where an Ironheart has been excavated. After undergoing emergency restoration protocols at that location, the Guide should be able to track the Ironheart. The problem is, the Ironheart excavation site is near a Vulgus munitions factory. It's a weapons production site where cyborg Vulgus, the Legion of Immortality, are manufactured. Sharon and the Colon Special Forces, along with Jeremy, have been deployed there as the front line, and a bridgehead has been secured. I've assigned you to this operation as well. Sharon has exceptional infiltration skills, but I need someone who can lead the battle. Your mission is to infiltrate the Ironheart excavation site and restore the Guide's system. I still have my doubts about the Guide. Even for this operation, I'm sending you into the Lion's Den on the strength of her words. But after witnessing the intercept battle, I've made up my mind. We must find the Ironheart and close the dimensional wall as soon as possible. Failure to do so would leave the remnants of humankind to be trampled by the Colossi, even if we win the war against the Vulgus. So, I have decided to put my trust in the strategic value of the Guide. For now. Descendant, I leave this operation in your hands. The fate of humanity rests on your shoulders.
Right, talk to the Descendant instructor. Alright, so now that we've unlocked that, before we do that, because of certain missions in Kingston, we were able to unlock another Descendant. And so
feel a chill.
We're gonna change for the time being.
Are you ready to be shocked?
Modules will make you stronger.
Alright, enhancing a module increases its effect, however the capacity increases as well. Try enhancing the modules you need first. This is the menu of the module you're enhancing. You can check the entire list of modules you own or only the modules equipped on Descendants in use or on weapons. You can view a list of modules that you own. Select one of those modules to enhance it. This shows how the selected module is enhanced. The higher the enhancement level, the higher the enhancement cost. However, the module's efficiency also increases as it approaches the maximum enhancement level. Module enhancement requires Kuiper shards and gold. You can acquire Kuiper shards by dismantling modules. Go to Cillion and Albion to dismantle modules you don't need. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the module capacity. In order to make sure that you can't be totally broken, like at the very beginning, there is a capacity for your modules on your characters and on your weapons. You probably maybe saw when we were overlooking our character or the weapons that there was a little experience bar that was kind of under it. So everything, characters and weapons, level up from level 1 to level 100. I know, no, I'm off. I'm sorry. Level 1 to level 40. Each level increases the capacity. I think not every level. I think it's like maybe every 5 levels it increases the capacity. So for I don't know if it's the same or if it's slightly different for characters and weapons, but I know for I think it's I think it might be the same. I think the capacity is it increases just by leveling. I think it increases to 70. And then there's a special module that can increase your capacity to 80. So when you increase these, it increases your stats of whether the character or your weapon. So let's go ahead and increase the health. Actually, we'll go ahead and increase everything at least to level 2. Alright, and so now still land is open.
I'll listen to what you have to say. You're here. Welcome to the Vulgus Munitions Factory. You've made quite the impression at Kingston. So much so, I was tempted to recruit you for Colon. But then again, the enemy isn't exactly a pushover. However, now that we have the guide as a strategic asset, I'm sure the trajectory of this war will change drastically. Shall we get started? Based on the coordinates provided by the guide, the Ironheart excavation site is near the enemy's industrial zone. Unfortunately, the exact location needs to be confirmed in person. The coordinates are based on data from the time of the ancestors, and there's a high probability that the topography today will look a little different. I'll do recon around the industrial zone. While I'm doing that, your mission is to create a diversion to draw the enemy's eyes away from me. Even though I have active camouflage, things will be much easier if you can hold the enemy's attention. I'll tell Jeremy to stay behind and provide operational support. Jeremy seems to be unable to link with the guide, so he won't be much use in finding the excavation site. He'll be better deployed using his Arche teleportation abilities as support for your diversion operation. Let's get moving. We need to restore the guide system as soon as possible.
What, me? Support? For crying out loud.
Alright, so this is Bunny, and as you can see, we have different abilities. And of course, with Bunny, she uses electricity. So we have the first ability, which allows us to shock enemies, kind of like a little thunderbolt. It has to be close proximity. I think currently we could shock up to 2-3 enemies at once. We have the second ability, which allows us to use the electricity to run faster. The third ability, which grants us a little electro field, which does AoE damage every so often. The more you run, I think the faster it goes. And then the fourth one, they changed it. It's been a while since I played the first Descendant, even on my PS5, and so I heard that they made some balancing changes and reworks for some of the characters and whatnot, and I know Bunny was one of them, so that's one of them. Okay, so her original ultimate, I guess you could say, it used to be a bomb, if you will. You used to take the electricity stored within you and overcharge it and then discharge it all at once. The more electricity you had stored up, the more damage it did. But looks like in this case it's a melee. Okay, flash kick dashes forward and kicks on activation, consumes all electricity and increases damage proportional to the amount of electricity consumed. When using skill, acquires a protective barrier proportional to the amount of electricity consumed. While using the skill, becomes immune to knockdown and knockback. Okay. So instead of you just unleashing an electrical just bomb at wherever your location is, it's an explosive kick. Okay. Oh, did I?
Get to the point. Guide, guide, guide. That's all everybody talks about these days. Since when did the higher-ups at Albion conduct operations based on the word of a spirit? Not to mention, excluding an excellent descendant like myself from this operation, everything's clearly going very well. Hey, you think it's funny I can't link with the guide? All right then, let's consider which descendants aren't able to link with the guide right now. Let's see. It's only me and Alpha, yes? Looks to me like the commander of Albion and the strongest descendant are the only ones who are still sane. If I were you, I'd think carefully about why you've been designated as a bait, and I'm going to do things my way. Don't even think about tagging along. Huh. Do you really think you can even attempt to follow me? With my Arche abilities?
You've been ambushed. Or did you let it happen? As a feint, it worked well. But you mustn't let your guard down. Those Vulgus cyborgs have had quite a few upgrades recently. You may suddenly encounter powerful units that aren't in our database. Oh, we're definitely in Vulgus-occupied territory. There's no end to them.
High-level Vulgus closing in. We confirmed it's a new Kuiper-enhanced variant.
Thanks to the enemies being drawn your way, infiltration is going smoothly. Good job.
Communications deception transmitter at the Vulgus base is operational. Descendant, you need to protect the transmitter while it is operating. If the diversion works, we can detain a number of enemies here. Closing in on the transmitter. There is a high probability that this is the result of a communications diversion. Continue to engage them and stall for time as long as possible. High-level Vulgus closing in. Likely lured by our communications suppression. Tactical target achieved. Mission accomplished, Descendant.
This is Sharon. I'm transmitting to all Allied forces deployed to this operation. We have an urgent development, requesting backup. Number 17 has received details. All units are to head to the mining outpost.
Sample secured. The Vulgus seem to believe our actions are a simple offensive mission. The feint is working. Receiving info on Mark. Position of Vulgus power plant confirmed. Mission request. Destruction of generators as a feint attack.
I heard Captain Harris let you in on a fun trick. Certain Legion of Immortality units have parts that can act as diffusers. We can use those.
Unstable energy flow detected. Probability of fuse parts high. Vulgus carrying fuse parts confirmed. High-level Vulgus closing in. Request combat engagement. All generators disabled. Mission relay terminated.
All right.
Please be as brief as possible. Descendant, we have an urgent report on Sharon. Her current position is near the Vulgus munitions factory. Thanks to your diversionary tactics, she was able to reach the target safely, but the Vulgus have appeared. This is the sitrep recorded by Sharon's Deceive.
Operating Arche tracking matrix. Kyber retrofitted active camouflage detected. Probability of zone infiltration high. Ironheart excavation site status. Quarantine at the highest level of security. Terminate the Descendant on site. Terminate. Terminate.
This cyborg Vulgus, Edelik,
is a commando-level model specializing in defense missions. It's armed with Arche tracking functions. And it seems the Vulgus already know about the Ironheart excavation site. I was told that the Ancestors' data was tightly guarded at Kingston. If the Vulgus have gained access to it, however, then this rigorous level of security makes sense. For the moment, Sharon has requested an attack on the repository's core facility to lure the Vulgus commander. Once the Vulgus have vacated the factory, she intends to try and infiltrate it again. Descendant, you and Jeremy are to launch an attack on the repository.
Are you sure this guide can be trusted? Didn't you guys win at Kingston?
Focus on the mission, Jeremy.
All right, y'all. So, with that, I believe this is a good place to take a break. Next video, we'll go ahead and continue on with the story here. So, like and comment on the video. Subscribe for more gameplay. And with that, see ya. Peace.